Hello everyone, my name is Fedro and this is cozyfeji, and on this channel we cover a variety of things such as video essays, reviews, JRPGs, and all things cozy gaming. So as we are approaching Nintendo Switch's 7th year alive, and with the rumors rumbling around and being a lot more hyper aware of the fact that there may be allegedly a Nintendo Switch successor coming out at the end of this year, there are a lot of games that I really want to see hopefully ported onto that new Switch successor, whether they be games that stuck on certain consoles or games that I want to see give a new fresh coat of paint onto a new upgraded hardware, modern hardware. So some of these games are either some series of games, some of them are just, again, individual standalone games, but these are all JRPGs that I really want to see and experience for the first time. These are all games that I want to experience on a new modern console that I think a lot of people should experience for the first time as well. So some of these games, like I mentioned before, some of them are series, some of them are standalones, and some of them were kind of hinted at possibly being on the Switch but never were confirmed or just kind of like forgotten about. So first off, we're going to start off with some series. Now the first few series that I want to mention, or first few games that I want to mention, are from the same company, from Monolith Soft. Are we surprised? No. But some of the games that I would love to see either ported, remastered, or remade for the new Switch successor has to be the Xenosaga series. I have never played the Xenosaga games, although I plan to get a PS2 from my brother that is modded, so hopefully I can put some of those games on there. But I definitely want to experience Xenosaga, and I feel like because Monolith Soft has been one of the popular or high in demand, not say high in demand, but one of Nintendo's trusted developers, and they've gained a lot of popularity from the Switch, it just makes sense to bring their older games onto the console. I am aware that Xenosaga is technically owned by Bandai Namco, so I don't know how involved Monolith Soft or Nintendo would be involved with that port, just because I know that Bandai Namco still owns the rights to the Xenosaga series, so I don't know how that would go about, but I would absolutely love to see that game ported, remade, or remastered onto the new Switch successor. I definitely think it would be benefit more if it was a remake, just because I know that when Xenosaga series was released back in the PS2 era, I believe, I know that during the development of that game they wanted it to be a 6-part game, so I would really love if they took the time to, if Monolith Soft could be involved, I would love to see them flesh out more of the characters or flesh out more of the story. Emphasis on the story, because I know that they wanted it to be a 6-part series and had to cut down to 3-part series, so I'd love to see what their initial envision of the story would be like with that 6-part series. Another Monolith Soft classic that I would love to see remade for the new Switch successor would have to be Xenogears. This is a game that I'm probably most likely going to play this year, but I think because of with Star Ocean's second story art and that beautiful remake with the HD 2D style, I think Xenogears would benefit from that aesthetic as well. I could just imagine Xenogears in that aesthetic and style onto modern consoles would look absolutely stunning, and it would benefit more for that type of look, and I feel like it wouldn't be too hard to translate that to modern consoles with the HD 2D style, which I really would love to see. And again, Xenogears is definitely a well-beloved JRPG for many JRPG enthusiasts, and a lot of people would love to experience that for the first time as well. And I know that Square Enix, Nintendo, and I believe Monolith Soft had a pretty good relationship, so I think all of them working together would be a pretty easy feat to do, I would assume so. I don't really know how these things work behind closed doors, but I would love to see that in that kind of aesthetic and style. And of course, the last Monolith Soft game that I would love to see ported onto new Nintendo successor or Nintendo console has to be Xenoblade Chronicles X. I know a lot of people wanted this game ported onto the current Switch that we have now, but I know that Monolith Soft said it themselves that it was too big of a game and too expensive to port onto the Switch. And yes, I know Xenoblade Chronicles X is definitely probably one of the most expansive worlds out there, but with what we've seen from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Futures Redeemed, and 2, and Definitive Edition on the Switch, I definitely think it's possible, and hopefully with the new Nintendo Switch successor, since the rumors are going around that the specs and scaling and graphic fidelity and storage has definitely upgraded since the current Switch, I definitely think it's a possibility that we may see in the near future. But the next series is technically a series that we already have on the Switch, but I know a lot of fans were very disappointed with what we got, and that is none other than the Kingdom Hearts series. I remember when the Kingdom Hearts Sora was announced for Smash, and when he was announced for Smash, alongside him coming onto the Switch, the series would come to the Switch. But there was a caveat. It was going to be a cloud version. And we all know how much we love cloud versions. So that definitely put a damper on a lot of people's moods, just because I feel like cloud gaming on the Switch is kind of iffy at best. From what I remember when I tried to play at least the demo of Kingdom Hearts, I think 3, my internet could not do it. I just don't have that strong of an internet connection to do it. I don't know, maybe some people had better chances or better internet connection than I do to run it and play it, but it just couldn't work. And what really made me like, why would Square Enix make this decision is because I can understand maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 maybe just kind of struggling on the Switch, but with the older games that are on PS2, on the DS, PSP versions of those games, I don't understand how they could not port those on to the Switch. I know for a fact that they can run on the Switch, so I feel like it was just due to laziness on Square Enix's part, or maybe Nintendo's, who knows. It was definitely due to laziness because those games could have easily ran perfectly fine on the Switch. So I'm hoping that they could do a little surprise for us and be like, hey, I know that you guys didn't like the cloud version, but how about we give you physical versions of Kingdom Hearts series? If not physical, at least get them all digitally onto the Switch. So I would love to see that happen on the new Switch successor. And the last series that I would love to see ported or remade or remastered onto the next new Nintendo console has to be the Trails in the Sky trilogy. Now, I know that Neon Falcom has been kind of hinting at that they might want to possibly remaster or remake the Trails in the Sky arc in games. However, they want to focus on other projects before they get to that one first, which I think is fine. I definitely do think it'd be really great to see Trails in the Sky on modern consoles just all together, just because we have Trails in the Sky, not Trails in the Sky, we have Trails the Crossbell arc with Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, and then we have 2 of the Cold Steel games, and we have Reverie as well, and then Through Daybreak is also being released onto the Switch. So it just makes sense to have the OG Sky arc onto the Switch successor. It'd just be nice to have all of the games all in one place, so people who are really interested in getting into this series could finally dive in and have one place to play them all from beginning to the most recent entry. And I just would love to see Trails in the Sky in a fresh new paint, or even if it's not remastered, I would love to see them ported as well, because again, I would love to see more people get into the Trails series. Okay, so I'm going to mention all of the series that I want onto the new Switch successor. Now here are some standalone games I would love to see, hopefully see a port onto the Switch successor. Oh my gosh, take that 5 times fast. So one game that kind of was forgotten, that I don't know if it would ever happen because it was mentioned years ago and there has been no updates about it since, and that is none other than Genshin Impact. Now, I remember, I think it was announced that the Hoyoverse wanted to release Genshin Impact onto the Switch. I believe it was in 2019 or early 2020. They had that one trailer about it, and that was it. We've heard absolutely zilch, nothing, nada since then. And a lot of people say that's due to the graphic fidelity, the hardware. I don't know how they would do the transactions element to it. I know a lot of things, and also due to the storage. Because if y'all don't know, Genshin Impact is a massive game. On my iPad alone, I think that game comes up to 25, maybe 28 gigs of storage, and the Switch, based on an OG Switch, I think is only 16 or 32. I don't remember. I need to remember. And I think the OLED is maybe 64 base. So just Genshin Impact alone would take up more than half of your storage, if not all of your storage. With more patches coming in, it just gets bigger and bigger. So I don't know how feasible that would be to have it on the Switch. But if the new successor has better storage, I would love to see not only Genshin Impact, but Honkai Star Rail on as well, because that would also add more base. And I think add more people to play the game, and I think it would be a lot of fun to play that game handheld. I know people can already play that game handheld on their Steam Decks and Rogue Allies, but it would be nice to have it on the Switch. I've also seen a lot of people who've have modded Switches play Genshin Impact on it, and I just feel like it'd be the perfect place to play it. It's just like, come on, because it's already mobile on your phone and your iPad or whatever, so just having it on the Switch would be just an added bonus. Now, another new game that I would love to see ported onto the new Switch would be, or the new Switch successor, and that would be Persona 3 Reload. Now, with Persona 3 Reload, when it was first announced, it was only announced for Xbox Series S and X, Game Pass, as well as PlayStation 4 and 5 and PC. And so when there was no announcement for Switch, a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads, me included, because like, I understand the whole debacle of getting the original Persona games like P3 Portable, 4 Golden, and P5R was just long overdue to get them onto the Switch. But with Persona 3 Reload not being a Switch release, made me confused, and a lot of people confused. It's like, it's not that it's super graphically intensive that the Switch cannot run it. I have a feeling it could, and with being the Nintendo Switch being such a huge large install base in Japan and internationally, and it being a JRPG, it would just make sense for it to release onto the Switch. So having the P3R not be released on the Switch makes me realize that they might want to wait until the Switch successor comes out and then port it on. So I would love to see it on a new upgraded console for us to play. Also similar to that, I would also love Metaphor Refantazio as well ported onto the new Switch successor. I think that similar to P3R, probably due to graphic and hardware elementations, which is why it's not being ported onto the current Switch. So I would love to see that game on the new Switch successor. I think JRPGs are just meant to be played portably. That's just that's my take. For me, get through JRPGs way quicker and way faster on a handheld device, whether that's on my Switch or my Steam Deck or any other handheld gaming device that I have. I just find it easier and faster to just go through them. Being able to play them from my couch or at work, not during work, but during my breaks at work, it's just being able to whip out my Switch or a PSP or Vita and play a JRPG in quicker sessions. To me, is just an easier way for me to go about playing my games. So the last few games that I want to mention are currently locked on their original consoles that they released on. So these games have not seen the light of day anywhere else. A lot of these games are also really, really hard to come across physically, and they're also really, really expensive. So these are definitely games that I really love to experience on my own. The first one I want to mention is Tales of Xillia. Now, recently I wanted to get this, after playing Tales of Arise, it made me really, really want to get back into the old Tales games. I have Tales Abyss back in my collection, as well as Tales of Berseria, but I watched a Let's Play or cutscenes of Tales of Xillia, and I thought this would be a really fun game to play. Now, the unfortunate situation for us, or for some people, is that it's stuck on the PS3. Not everyone has a PS3, and I don't know if it's on the PSN store. I believe it's not. So I would really, really love to see this game, or a lot of other past Tales games, being ported onto this new Switch successor. I think it would be really fun to experience this game, and I know that this game is definitely a popular Tales game compared to the others. So we've had Tales of Vesperia on the Switch, we have Tales of Symphonia. I would love to see this older classic as well onto modern consoles as well. And the last game that I have to mention is actually a holy grail item of mine. I definitely want to own it at some point, but I can't really push myself to get it because it's so expensive, and that is none other than Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Now, if you don't know, this game originally came out onto the GameCube, and getting this physical copy is actually ridiculous. Getting a physical complete inbox of this game can run you anywhere from $300 to upwards of $600, and ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have the money for that. I'd rather spend that money on a new console or a new handheld or the new Switch successor than actually paying all that for just one game. That just does not make any sense. So I think this type of game would benefit so much being ported onto the new Switch successor. And with Fire Emblem gaining a huge audience and popularity on the Switch with Engage and Three Houses, it just makes sense to port another really a fan favorite game like Path of Radiance to be ported onto the Switch. I know that there's a lot of rumors going around that there might be a remake for the 4th entry with Genealogy of the Holy War, so that probably would put Path of Radiance on the back burner for a while, but I would love to see this game ported because I really want to play it for myself, because I know a lot of people love this game, but again, that price tag, it ain't cute. And with that, those are pretty much all of the games that I would love to see ported onto the new successor, or even on the Switch if we can. I would love to see these games and experience them for the first time, or experience them all over again. Let me know what you guys would love to see ported onto the Switch successor. Are there any games that you played in your past that you would love to see with a fresh new coat of paint, or some games that you never got to experience that you would love to see on a modern console? If you guys enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye!